They say the victors write history, but what about the faiths that nearly won? What if Christianity weren't the dominant religion of the West, but another mystery cult instead? For centuries, there was a spiritual battle raging across the Roman Empire, and Christianity wasn't the only contender. In the shadows of temples, deep inside secret caves, and under the watch of Roman soldiers, another faith was thriving: Mithraism, the mysterious cult of the god Mithras. This was not a minor rival. It was Christianity's most formidable competitor in the race for Rome's soul, and at one point it wasn't clear which one would triumph. Today, we're diving into the lost world of Mithraism, a religion of secrecy, blood, and brotherhood, a religion that nearly became the dominant faith of Europe. By the end of this story, you'll see how close the West came to praying to Mithras instead of Christ, and how history took a sharp turn that changed civilization forever. The story of Mithraism begins far from Rome. Mithra, or Mitra, was an ancient Indo-Iranian deity, worshipped centuries before Rome was even born. In Persian tradition, Mithra was the god of light and contrasts, the truth of eternal warrior, who fought against the forces of darkness. He was a protector of order, a bringer of justice, and a divine mediator. The earliest references to him go back to the Rig Veda in India, over 3,500 years ago, where Mitra was associated with oaths and friendship. In Persia, under Zoroastrianism, Mithra became a powerful Yasata, or divine being, standing alongside Ahura Mazda, the supreme god, against the evil Ahriman. But how did a Persian god make his way into the heart of Rome? The answer lies in conquest, trade, and the cultural melting pot of the ancient Mediterranean. After Alexander the Great's campaigns, Eastern deities spread westward. By the time Rome encountered Mithraism, the god had been reshaped, adapted, and transformed into a new kind of mystery religion. Scholars still debate whether Roman Mithraism was directly inherited from Persian Mithra worship or if it was a Greco-Roman invention inspired by Eastern ideas. What's clear is that by the 1st century CE, Mithraism had taken root in the empire, and it spread like wildfire, especially among soldiers. Imagine a Roman legionary, far from home, stationed on the frontiers of the empire in Germania or Britain. The camp is cold, the nights are long, and death is always near. After a day of marching or bloody combat, he finds his way to a hidden doorway cut into the earth. Inside, the torchlight flickers, shadows dance across painted walls, and the air is heavy with incense. He descends into a Mithraeum, a cave-like sanctuary carved beneath the streets or built into the hillside. The room is narrow, resembling the belly of the earth itself. Benches line the sides where his brothers in arms sit, cloaked in silence, their eyes fixed on the central image, Mithras plunging his dagger into the sacred bull. It is not just art, it is the cosmic drama of life and death. The slaying of the bull, the tauroctony, was the heartbeat of Mithraic belief. As Mithras' blade pierced the animal, life was unleashed. Wheat sprang from its tail, wine from its blood, and the world was renewed. Around the bull swarmed the scorpion, snake, raven, and dog symbols whose meanings were hidden, layered, and revealed only to the initiated. For the legionary sitting in that flickering cave, this was not mere myth. It was a promise that sacrifice gave meaning, that struggle gave life. Unlike Christianity's open preaching, Mithraism whispered its truths in secrecy. To join, one underwent a grueling path of initiation. Imagine standing blindfolded, stripped of your weapons, surrounded by your brothers as they chant in low voices. You are tested with fire, water, and darkness. You are symbolically reborn into the brotherhood of Mithras. Each stage of initiation carried you deeper into the mysteries: raven, bridegroom, soldier, lion, Persian, sunrunner, father. Each trial was harsh, mirroring the discipline of the army. Only the worthy advanced. The highest, the fathers, guided others. Much like commanders leading soldiers, meals were sacred, shared in solemn silence. Bread and wine passed among initiates, echoing communion yet carrying a different meaning: the celebration of Mithras' feast with the sun god's soul invictus. The Mithraeum itself was more than a temple. It was a map of the cosmos. The ceiling painted with stars, the walls lined with celestial signs. Entering one was like stepping into the universe itself, where every ritual mirrored the movements of the heavens. Mithraism's exclusivity gave it power but also weakness. Women could not enter. Children were absent. It was a brotherhood of men forged by discipline and secrecy. This made it ideal for soldiers, who saw in it a reflection of their own lives, loyalty, hierarchy, and struggle. But it also meant the religion could never reach the masses as Christianity did. Where Christians welcomed widows, slaves, and families, Mithras shut the door. Still, its appeal was immense. Imagine Rome's generals, senators, even emperors, slipping quietly into the shadows to take part in the secret feast. Commodus himself, notorious for his cruelty, is said to have been a myth. The cult's sanctuary stretched across the empire, hidden beneath houses in Rome, buried deep in the hills of Cappadocia, carved into the rocks of Duri Europos. Soldiers carried it with them from Syria to Britain. Archaeologists today still uncover these caves, their altars intact, their symbols carved into stone. Each one whispers of a faith once alive, now silent. By the 3rd century, the empire was at a spiritual crossroads. Mithraism held sway among the powerful, while Christianity struggled under persecution. Too many Mithraisms seemed destined to win. But while Christians converted entire households, Mithraism initiated only men in secret. Christianity built vast, open communities. Mithraism built hidden brotherhoods. The difference would decide history. Then came Constantine. When the emperor cast his lot with Christianity, the fate of Mithraism was sealed. Slowly, the underground sanctuaries were abandoned. Some were destroyed, others buried and forgotten. By the 5th century, Mithraism was gone, erased by decrees and forgotten by the public. Only fragment statues of Mithras painted ceilings, broken altars remained, yet echoes linger. The imagery of light conquering darkness, of sacred meals, of brotherhood in struggle, these resonate even now. Some historians suggest Christianity may have absorbed pieces of Mithraism, its imagery of the sun, its sacred meal, its struggle of good and evil. Others argue they simply drew from the same ancient well. Whatever the truth, Mithraism's shadow fell across the birth of Europe's faith. The silence of Mithraism is its greatest tragedy. Unlike Christianity, it left no gospels, no letters, no preachers' words. Its teachings were never written, only whispered in the caves. What we know comes from the stones and ruins left behind. A religion without a voice, remembered only through archaeology. Yet its memory reminds us of the fragility of history. For a brief moment, the West could have chosen differently. Perhaps Europe might have been shaped not by churches and cathedrals, but by underground sanctuaries and warrior brotherhoods. Perhaps the very symbols of faith, the rituals of life, the meaning of sacrifice, might have followed another path. History did not choose Mithras, it chose Christ. But in the shadows of Rome, beneath the streets where tourists now walk, lies the ghost of a faith that once nearly conquered the empire. A faith of secrecy, struggle, and cosmic drama. So next time you see the cross or walk beneath the vaulted ceilings of a cathedral, remember the caves where soldiers once gathered in flickering light, sharing bread and wine, believing they were part of a cosmic battle led by Mithras. Remember how close history came to a very different world.